Hey, welcome to another episode of Coaching, Caffeine, and Comedy, and I'm your host, Haley Kobza. Today we have somebody on our episode that I actually ended up, I don't even know him, but I'm going to know him after this podcast. If you guys listen to the episode with Coach Dwight Smith, also known as Ghost or Panda, he actually referred Dakota to me, and Dakota and I are basically like family because he followed me on Twitter and I've retweeted, and I don't know what Twitter's like, but lo and behold, he's here today. So today I'd like to welcome Dakota Patton to Coaching, Caffeine, and Comedy. How are you, Dakota?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for doing this.
Of course, of course.
Okay, so I don't know if you have listened to any of our episodes, but we start off by just like a little fill in the blank thing. And so today, since I don't really know you, this is going to be like first thing the top of your head, and it's going to be more about you. So, like, for example, if I say peanut butter and
Jelly.
good, okay, you got this. Okay, so ready? My name is,
Dakota Patton,
I am a,
basketball coach.
I was raised in,
Kansas City.
oh, okay. I drink,
Water.
good. Best basketball team is,
Ah,
ooh,
Lakers.
ooh, okay. I was a coach at,
Sterling College.
no way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You were Region 9.
Sterling, no,
Sterling.
Sterling College, the NAI.
Oh, okay, okay. I was like, wait, like, so, okay, gotcha. Well, at least you know where I was talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
I played at,
Johnson and Wales.
okay. Coach Ghost is,
Like an older brother.
oh, oh, well, interesting. Okay. So, Coach, to get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? So, you were raised in Kansas City. That's fun. How did you get into coaching?
To be honest, I was raised in Kansas City. I moved around, but I ended up in Colorado. And when I was in high school in Colorado, just like in summertime, I would coach the high school camps and stuff, and I enjoyed doing it. And then when I went off, eventually I walked on and redshirted at Colorado State for a year in college. And then after that 1 year, that's how I met Dwight.
Okay.
He was there the year before I was.
So,
And,
going on that note, sorry to interrupt. Was he as good as he says he is?
no,
Or-
yeah, he was really good. I guess this is a funny story. So I didn't know Dwight at all, but he had left Colorado State and transferred to Northern Colorado. And so our team didn't like him. Like
oh,
our team liked him, but like our staff didn't want to like him. So in the locker room on our fridge where the food was, there was a picture of Dwight in black and white, and it said traitor. So I didn't know anything about him. I just know this guy's apparently a traitor. And I would just go play at the rec center and stuff in my free time. And his girlfriend at the time was still a player at CSU. So he would come play at the rec with her. So I'm seeing him and I'm like, oh yeah, like I gotta go at this guy and try to prove myself. And let's just say that didn't end well for me.
oh my gosh. How tall are you? Just out of curiosity.
6'2",
6'2". What's Dwight?
probably about 6'3".
I look at Dwight like from his past, like he was a big dude.
Yeah, no, he was, and he was a freak athlete for like his size as well.
Yeah, I'm like because I was going back, doing some PI work on the old World Wide Web, and I'm like, he looks nothing like that now. He's like this vegan eating small human, but
I know it's crazy to see, even like a few years ago, like when he just wasn't really playing and wasn't living his healthiest lifestyle.
right.
He's just gotten so much down to a healthier weight that he enjoys.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So sorry to interrupt. So then you went and you played at CSU.
Yep. And then I transferred to a small NAI, and when I was there, um, my actual high school coach was coaching at a different high school that was in Denver, where I was playing. So I would just go help him out. And then for my internship, I just got into skills training and skills development. And just long story short, COVID hit, skills development and stuff wasn't really making the money I wanted to. So um my high school coach had gotten a college job and wanted me to go out there, and I said if there's a time for me to take you know a pay decrease, it's now. So I went, coached in Sterling, Kansas with 2,000 people in the town for 2 years. And then I ended up not necessarily loving that situation financially, and ended up leaving after this past season, and decided I'm not necessarily going to get back into college coaching for now till I'm in a system or with a coaching staff that I really like and I just align with.
Hmm.
And now I do Point Guard College, which is a camp that's for youth across the country, and I direct those sessions. Some of the other directors are NBA skills trainers, ex-college coaches, ex-professional players. So pretty good people, pretty good company to learn from and be directing next to. So that's where I'm at now.
Cool. I like that. So that must be why I like most of your Twitter page, because I was, of course, scrolling through there. Like you point out really obvious things for point guards in games.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Like, so all athletes that play basketball should definitely follow you. Like, those are those small things. Like when you're focusing in and you're watching film, it's like you have to point those things out because the athletes need to be doing more of those. Um, well, that's cool. That's great. So, are you thinking? So you work for Point Guard Academy, right?
Point Guard
College.
College,
Okay.
PGC.
Okay. Cool. So, how did you get into that? Like, how did you get that relationship, like, or get asked to help with that?
Well, my friend was like a site manager for these camps the past few years,
Hmm.
and told me to work them. And I was like, I'm not about to work one of these little goofy little basketball camps, because they have like 100 people. It's like a 5-day overnight camp, and when you work it as a basket instructor, you're getting paid $400 for 5 days, all day work. Like, it's just not great pay.
Camps are
And I was like,
exhausting.
oh my goodness. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing one of these camps. Like, I wasn't a believer in it. And she was like, just go to one. Like, I want you to talk to the person. And I was like, all right, well, I'll talk to them, but I'm not trying to just be a basket instructor. Like, I want to eventually be a director.
Hmm.
Um and then I ended up talking to them, and they're like, we don't need directors now, but with you being a college coach, this was last summer, um or right before last summer, they were like, we'll bring you on and put you in our director candidate pool and just see how you are as a basket instructor and see what you do. And I'm thinking $400 a week. Like, all right, I'll do a couple camps just to get my foot in the door. But $400 just isn't the financial means I need to make this summer. And I ended up working 2 sessions in a row. Next thing you know, they're like, you want to work another one? Sure. You want to work another one? Sure. And they're flying me around to Massachusetts, Texas, Oklahoma. I mean, anywhere you could think of. And I just fell in love with the camps, because they weren't like ordinary camps. They were teaching players how to watch film, how to train, how to invest in their own game, how to have a different mentality when it comes to growing as a player and a person, along with, it is a 5-week really extensive, mentally draining, physically draining process, and teaching them how to get through that part where your mind doesn't want to go and your body doesn't want to go, but you just got to keep going. So I was like, you know what? I love this. I'm all for everything it does. And next thing you know, this summer I'll be directing, and
That's
can't
all.
ask for anything more.
That's awesome. So where do you live now? Do you live in Colorado?
Yes, I live in Loveland, Colorado.
Oh, okay. What do you do when you're not directing these camps? I'm guessing there's probably a lot of behind the scenes work, but do you,
Well, right now, like, we do have training, like director training and stuff, that happens once a week, twice a week over Zoom. But other than that, I just really have been spending my time doing skills training and skills development. I'm working a process of trying to get a business going with that, which I think will really blow up and start after the summer.
Mhm.
But right now, I'm kind of just still kind of. You're a college coach. You know what decompressing after the season
Oh,
is.
for sure. Yeah.
Uh,
Got to
so
get
I'm still in that.
got to get prepped before it hits again. Um,
Exactly.
so these camps, I'm guessing, what are their age ranges? I'm guessing there's all sorts of different age ranges, but like what are they? Is it junior
So
high, high school?
they have everything. So they have a skills academy that's all the young kids. I mean, it's all the elementary school kids. Then they have Playmaker College, which is an introduction to the overnight courses. The skills courses aren't overnight.
Okay.
The Playmaker is the introduction to the overnight courses, and that is from 6th grade to 10th grade, I believe.
Hmm.
Then there's Scoring College and Point Guard College, which are two more premier ones, and that's 7th to um, going into college or 12th grade. And then they also have each summer they have a post grad. The post grad is all college players, and then they actually even have a pro course, like a an elite college pro course. So that's where they'll get 10 players from the Big Ten, 10 players from mid majors, 10 players from Ivy League schools. They'll get 10 pros. Like this year, they have a few NBA guys going. So they have a variety of camps, and it goes all the way up to even having some NBA players that attend them.
Oh, that's awesome. I do think, with coaching and like you right now directing camps, camps are exhausting. I mean, even if you're directing them, I only can I only can imagine. We have like 1 week of camps and I'm like, this is the hardest 5 days of your life, but it's well worth it in the end. Um, is there ever been any like camper that's just like at the end of the week, you're like, you know what, that was a long week, but this kid just made it way better?
Oh my goodness. So honestly, like every week there's multiple of those. Like otherwise I wouldn't have made it through the summer and I wouldn't want to keep doing it. But like the impact on these kids, it's just so hard to explain. I would tell, I would literally tell any coach of, because observing coaches will go to these camps too to
Hmm.
develop themselves. I would tell any coach of any sport to go to these camps just to see and learn just how to coach in different aspects. But like when you're at these camps, it's just on night 4, there's this experience where all these, let's say there's 75 kids. These 75 kids are split up into 12 different teams, and they're all competing in this one game. And you have to score a certain amount in a row. And once you score a certain amount in a row, you're out. You're done. Like your week's finished. And so this is like this big moment for them. However, the basket instructors, me as a director, make it really tough to get out. This night will take 2-3 hours for them just to get out. But as they get out, you eventually get to there's one team left. And if there's one team left, okay, well, everybody still has to win their way out, and you can't play anybody. So we'll split the team up into two. So if there's 5 kids on that team, now we'll go, all right, it's 3-on-2. And there's always ladies that are mixed in with the guys. So we might go the three ladies against 2 guys, or 2 ladies and a guy versus 2 guys. And we're just having them play each other. And then once one of them wins, now there's only 2 people left. And then it's 1-on-1. And the whole camp is just around the 3-point line or around half court just watching after they've won out. And it's 1-on-1, and obviously these kids mentally drained. They've been there for 3.5 hours. They just want to take their shoes off and be done, and everybody's watching them. So then one person wins that, everybody goes crazy. Now this last person's left, and this last person's left is like low key embarrassed, but it's like we as a director, they don't know, but we control who the last person left is,
Hmm.
because the last person left has to hit 7 free throws in a row with everybody watching. So it it's crazy because sometimes it'll take them an hour and a half to make 7 free throws in a row. Sometimes it'll take them 10 minutes. but like it's just one of those mental things that they just have to get through. It's a wall that they just have to get through, and you get to watch it. You get to experience it throughout that whole night. So working into all these athletes not knowing each other coming in, at PGC we call it being too cool or too shy, too cool to make themselves uncomfortable and really get out their comfort zone and lead others that they don't know, or too shy to speak up and really get out their comfort zone. Day one, we get a lot of that. And then by day four, they're all cheering for each other. They all know each other. They're all creating these lifelong connections, and people are flying in from all over the world for these camps. So they're meeting each other. And yeah, it's multiple kids that I have that experience where I'm like, yep, this is why I do this.
That's awesome. I mean, I think if I was that last kid, though, I'd probably be crying.
Oh, it happens
Oh, I
almost every
was gonna
time.
say I would be so embarrassed, but then thinking about that on the coach side of it, there's so much more that comes out of that than fear and anxiety and all that in the long run.
They just got to make it through. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. I like that. And the fact, so does everybody stick around and watch that then, you said?
Yes, nobody can leave the gym until everybody's won their way out the game. So there's nights where there's actually one night last summer where it was in Massachusetts. Our gym, we had the gym till midnight. And normally they'll let you stay as long as you need to stay.
Right.
But this facility just was not letting us. It was a hard line out by midnight, and we hadn't finished it yet. We had not finished the last night challenge. So we literally went to an outdoor court that was on the college campus, pulled cars up with lights, and there was no hoops on it because COVID, all the hoops were down. So we literally grabbed trash buckets
Oh my
and
gosh.
held them up by where the hoop would be, and went with that. Like it was crazy. So
That's awesome.
we'll make sure everybody wins their way out. Nobody can go to sleep. Nobody can leave till everybody's done it. And they can't even like you're not even allowed to just like sit in the side and just like be on your phones. You can't if you touch your phone, you win your way back into the challenge. So you have to just be involved until the end and bring energy to the people that are left.
That's awesome. I like this. That sounds like my kind of thing. I definitely would be doing that. Um, in a volleyball setting though. So when you played college basketball, going back to that, was there ever a player, I asked Dwight the same question, that just made you want to put forth more effort in playing?
Uh, I don't know if there was ever like just one player. At Johnson and Wales, our senior class was just really close. We all dealt with adversity, and not necessarily all of us were happy with either our playing time, our coach, or the situation. But like we always stayed together. We came in with 17 freshmen. You know, at NAI, you could have as many people come
Right.
in as you want. So we came in with 17 freshmen. By our senior year, there was about 7, 8 of us left that were just real close. So we're always in the gym together, always getting better together. So I don't necessarily know if it was one player as much as it was nice to have that whole class that we went through all the struggles together.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we went through was together. It was, those shared experiences that made it like, okay, I'm responsible for making sure that I can play my role, I can do my job, and I won't let these guys down.
Mm-hmm. Um, was there ever, I always feel like everybody, no matter if you're a coach or just in any aspect of the world, there's always that one person that makes you better at your job. So, was there ever a coach or just a certain somebody that made you just want to be better at, like, in your career of coaching and working with basketball?
It's gonna sound crazy, but Dwight,
Oh, really?
that that might be why like he brought me up, but like him and I are always just in talks
Mm-hmm.
about coaching. Like we've never necessarily just always agreed on everything. We've never just disagreed, but like we're always bouncing ideas off each other. We're always talking to each other. Neither of us are afraid to have tough conversations with each other just about the experiences and things like that. And then, like, I've always just looked up to learning from him. There was actually a time this past year, before this year, Dwight didn't want to be a head coach. I don't know if he told you that, but he's like, I don't want to be a head coach. I think I always want to be an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I just don't have the personality. And I was like, you can, but he just wasn't necessarily the most outspoken in every room. He got nervous with stuff. But there was a opportunity he had this year when his head coach was out, when Brandel was out.
Yeah.
And he just felt himself step into a role that he was kind of just forced to be uncomfortable and step in, and got comfortable in that role. And, you know, now he's in a situation where he's like, yeah, no, I think I can do the whole head coaching thing. And just like pouring growth into each other and understanding, you know, being an assistant coach in college is never necessarily the easiest thing. And just having somebody to vent to and things like that, bounce ideas off of. Dwight's always been that person that pushes me to be better.
Right. Yeah. Do you ever, Dwight, when he was talking, like his biggest person and aspiration is his brother. Did you ever meet his brother? I'm assuming you have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is he
His
a
brother,
cool
his
cat?
brother, you said what?
Is he a cool cat? Cool cat?
Yeah, he's a cool cat. It's funny. Him and his brother have like very, very different personalities. On a
Really?
basketball court, they have very similar personalities.
Uh-huh.
But off a basketball court, just very, very different personalities. But like, it doesn't matter what's going on between those two, and like, those two are so close.
Yeah, they seem I'd he'd be a really interesting person to talk to after listening to Dwight talk about him.
Yeah, he's a Dwight. When I was finishing college and before COVID and stuff, I was wanting to go play overseas, and I would do trainings with Dwight's brother, who's obviously a professional basketball player, and that was tough.
Uh,
That was tough.
Um well that's I hope Dwight better be listening to this. So okay, we Dwight and we talked a lot about social media. Do you think like Twitter is the place to be for, like, I don't know, the more I dive into Twitter, I'm so behind the eight ball here. I feel like Twitter is the place for male sports. Am I
Honestly,
am I
I think
wrong?
Twitter is a place for everything professional.
Oh,
Like
that's okay.
like
Yeah.
if you want professional development, or you want to learn, like, Twitter is the place to go. It's becoming this place where marketing, athletics, recruiting, everything is just about threads and learning. And so for me, like, I wasn't a big Twitter user till I started coaching college, but like, I always had other interests, and for some reason, marketing was just one of those interests. I'll probably never ever do any work in marketing, but like, I just kind of I'm fascinated with how it works. So I follow some of these marketing guys on Twitter, and just the threads they make and the things you can learn from just threads on Twitter. I think if anybody can understand Twitter, really use Twitter effectively, like, it's just the best networking thing. It's just the best networking resource out there.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm coming to learn too. And I don't even know who it was, but somebody when I started this podcast, they're like, "You have got to get on Twitter." And I had like 10 followers. But the more that I like look into it, I'm like, I think you nailed it on the head. It's a place for professional development and professional recruiting and all of that stuff. It all happens there. Just like with Dwight stuff, just tagging him. I'm like, then there's like two athletes. They're like, yo, look at my film. And I'm like, what? What? We're talking about a podcast, and somehow you have two kids reaching out to you now wanting to look at their film.
Literally, that's how it works.
It's crazy. Crazy.
I got so many messages and followers on Twitter from just like recruits that found me. Like, you'll find some talented players on it too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I just was looking at one kid and he was like 6'7". And I'm like, well, if this was volleyball, he'd already be signed.
No lie.
Right? So do you do anything else besides basketball? Are you a golfer? What do you enjoy when you're not doing anything with basketball?
Uh, I like to be outside when it's nice out.
Hmm.
I don't like the cold, but if it's nice out, I love being outdoors in the mountains, on the lake, at the beach, whatever. I also love roller skating. I haven't gone as much
Oh,
as I'd like to, but I do enjoy roller skating. That's fun. I love music and dancing. Um,
I
yeah,
I feel like, are you single? I feel like this should definitely be like on your profile.
yeah. I'm definitely yeah.
You like rollerblading? I don't even think I've ever rollerbladed ever.
Oh no, not rollerblade, roller skates.
Oh,
The
rollers.
four.
Oh,
Not
like,
yeah, not the
oh,
inline. I'm not doing the inline stuff. I like to groove while I'm skating.
oh, I would love to see that. If you have any photos of you roller skating, send them my way. I don't think
I
I've
don't
ever
I don't know if I have any now, but next time I go, I'll make
send
sure to
one.
try to get it recorded.
And if you could actually go with Dwight, that would even be better.
Oh, if I can get Dwight on skates,
Th- Oh, that would be it.
I'll try.
Okay.
Next time he's in town, I'm gonna try.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever roller skated either. That's oof, bad news. Okay, so I'm trying to think what else. Um, what is your end goal? Like, what is this it? Like, is this where you want to end up? Or what's your biggest aspiration that you have to look forward to? Or how do you want to end?
To be honest, I'm not sure. Like, I'm only 26, so I'm
I
still
was, that
trying
was
to.
my second question. I was about to be like, wait, how old are you? Because you seem young.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out a lot.
Yeah.
Um, Success ever since I was a kid was never really about money. Like it just wasn't. But I also wasn't really raised in a community where money was around, in a family where money was around, and I just didn't really learn how money worked like that. But money still isn't like the most important thing to me. However, I am starting to be like, okay, I want to reach a spot where I can reach financial freedom, not so I can have all the money in the world, but just so that I can be in a spot where if I want to, one day when I have a wife and kids, if I want to take the day off or I want to spend the entire day with my kids, I'm not having to worry about it because I've already reached a spot where, I have all these streams of income coming in. So that's long term as I want to reach that. But like right now, I just want to learn. Like I just want to develop myself, learn anything and everything I can and you know, whatever area it is. It could be basketball, it could be business, it could be I'm a psych major, it could be psychology, it could be people. I just love learning.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's one of the biggest things. I talked to a coach here not that long ago, and he was a little bit older, but he said, the greatest coaches and the ones that change people are the ones that always continue learning and don't think that they know everything. So I think you're on the right track.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So you don't really want to go back into coaching?
No, I do, but like, see, my high school coach, the one that I was coaching under for college,
Yeah.
he actually got let go at the end of the season, which I think it was just a tough situation to find success in,
Hmm.
at that school, just with how everything was set up. It's a school that wants you to reach 40 people every single year. So all you're worried about is reaching your numbers, and you can't worry about bringing the best athletes in and putting all your energy into the best athletes. So then it's hard to have a really, productive team out there night in, night out. It was just a hard place to succeed. But like there was also a lot of things. I love him as a person, And I honestly think his coaching style, I mean, every coaching style can win. It's just, it wasn't necessarily mine. And as a job as an assistant coach, mine is to make sure that, I'm coaching his style, I'm coaching his system. And I was never going to not do that. And he knows that. But he also knows, like, behind closed doors, there were a lot of things that I didn't necessarily always agree with or align with. And that put a lot of stress on me because these are college kids. They can see right through bluffs. So if I'm coaching something that I'm not 100% sold on, they can see that. So now I have to make sure, I'm 100% sold on. It was mentally exhausting, and I thought to myself, like, the next time I'm coaching college, I'm gonna be with a staff that, like, I'm aligned with, and not necessarily morally, but systems wise and things like that, because I was aligned with this coach morally. Um, and I told Dwight, I said, Dwight, I'm just waiting on you. Once you get a head coaching job, let me know. I'm in.
I'll be there. And I don't think assistant coaches get all the credit that they deserve. I mean, I think a great assistant coach is a godsend. And they do, like you said, like you have to go along with what the coach is. And in today's world, you try to get an assistant coach that's not going to get you fired behind closed doors because
Exactly.
because they don't agree with you. And so then it's not even you're trying to find somebody that's in the same that thinks the same way that you do, but that actually you can trust that they're going to go with you. And like, so that's one, that's tough. And then two, like you said, if they don't believe in something, an assistant, if they don't believe in what you're coaching, yeah, college kids, they can look right through anybody. And assistant coaches have to be the best friend, not best friend, but they have to be that comfortable person, and they have to be a communicator for your head coaches. I don't know. Assistant coaches, I think that's a tougher gig than a head coach.
You're a bridge. You're constantly a
Yeah.
bridge between two parties, and but you got to still know which party is, comes more important. We actually had that. Me and our other assistant got pulled into the office to um by the AD and the vice president of athletics um at the school when they were thinking about, what they were going to do after season with the head coach. And they tried to get us to sell out on them. It's like, you're not going to get us to do that. Like,
Yeah. And that's awesome. Like great, that's good for you. A lot of people, you can't find coaches that'll do that. They're rare. They're very rare. I've been lucky enough that I mean, I think I go through an assistant a year because they all come here and then they get a better opportunity, which is fine. That's what it's about.
that says a lot about you, though,
Well, thank
and
you.
developing them.
Thank you. But I remember I had an assistant coach, and I think the best thing he was older, and I kind of took a gamble on him, which was like the best gamble ever. I mean, he was over 60 years old, but his passion was coaching. And I was like, yeah, let's do this. And he said, if we ever have any disagreements, can we please not show that or talk about it in front of our players? Which I was like, yes. Like the fact that he came and told me that is great, because it's really hard. Like kids can see through coaches and coaches can see through coaches. So if I go to say something and my assistant coach gives me a look, I'm like, you do what I'm telling you to do. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Assistant coaches are awesome. So awesome that you did that. You're probably a way better person for being an assistant coach. So I think Dwight would be super fun to work with too.
Oh my goodness, Dwight would be. Yeah.
Yeah. He seems so chill. I don't see him ever like getting upset. I think his upset would almost be scary. But
It is. It
because
is.
it'd be so like, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't.
It's crazy when, like, I just probably too much info, but we've been out,
Mm-hmm.
at the bars and stuff, and it's just crazy when our whole group is out, because in Fort Collins there's not a diverse population. So you got all these college kids out, and then you got grown men that are anywhere from, at this time, 24 to 30, that are all 6'2" to 6'9", and just big black guys that are athletic. And one person will start something with one of us, and it's just like everybody jumps in, and it's just like, what'd you say? And just seeing that, I'm like, I know some of these guys are just so scared. Thankfully, nothing's ever happened, but yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever pick a fight with Dwight, even though he's not eating protein and stuff. I think he could still hurt somebody.
Now might be the time to do it. You're
That's
right,
that's
though.
that's a very good point. Yeah. Well,
He's a lover now.
Yes. Oh yeah, he's soft and all philosophy and things like that. So, the other day yesterday, because I told him if he gained me some Twitter followers, I'd get him a smoothie. And so I like texted him. I got him a smoothie, and he didn't answer. So then I'll just call somebody. And poor guy, he had the late shift at the dorms, and he was sleeping. It was like 9:00 in the morning, and yeah, so I had to bring him his smoothie. Woke him up, but his roommate actually took it to him.
Pause.
Yes.
How many times did he say pause in the podcast?
Quite a few times, and now I think it's really freaking funny. And like the disturbing side of me wanted to be like, what's wrong with putting a worm in your mouth? But pause. That's great. He's a hoot. But awesome. Well, thank you, Dakota, for being on here. I'm going to ask you a few questions because I don't know if you like to read or anything. I like to read and listen and learn all the things. And so I usually get all my content from people like yourself. So what are you currently watching?
Watching?
Yes, sir.
To be honest, I really just watch YouTube videos. I don't really watch shows like that.
Like what kind of YouTube videos?
Well, you know how YouTube videos go. Once you're
going.
Yeah. I watch a lot of basketball YouTubers. I watch training stuff. Recently, I've been watching, like, I don't know how I got into it. I just fell into the abyss of YouTube, and then next thing you know, I'm watching these London parkour guys that do parkour for movies and stuff, but they post all their trainings and stuff when they're just doing parkour in public on YouTube, and some of the stuff they do is just ridiculously athletic, and I just sit there and watch that stuff. Yeah, that's really it. I do love movies, but I don't really watch them at home. But I'll go to the movie theater and watch movies.
Okay. Yeah, that's like a long lost art, is going to a movie theater. I bet Loveland has some good movie theaters, though.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Yeah.
I'll go by myself. I'm that weird person that's in a movie theater by themselves.
I like it. I like to do that stuff, too. But now when you're married, people are like, oh, why is she going to the movie by herself? But
that's fair.
Right? Okay. What's your favorite podcast?
Favorite podcast?
I know that you posted one here the other day.
I don't even know the name of it, but the other assistant coach at the college will always send me it, and I just listen to it without even knowing what the name of it is.
Was it the one that you posted on Twitter the other day?
It might have been a while ago.
Okay.
Did I?
I don't know. You posted one, and it was like, go listen to this guy.
Oh, no. So that's another PGC director.
Oh, okay.
His are good too, but his I wouldn't say is my favorite. The one that's my favorite is really it's this guy that talks to just really good basketball minds within college basketball that have just successful programs. It's not even only college basketball, but just talks to them about like where their success stems from. And I just like listening to it because it just shows how simple it is to reach success, but how so few people are willing to go down the road and do it. And there's not no just magic trick. When you listen to all these coaches, it's not like there's just one thing you're like, oh, that's why they're successful. That's why they've won so many championships. It's like
the process.
They're just consistent. They're doing the same thing every day, and they're really focused, intentional about their practices and their focus. And I like that podcast.
Okay. Well, if you think of it, send it to me so I can look into it.
I will.
Okay. What's your caffeine of choice?
Caffeine.
Caffeine.
I don't really like caffeine.
Oh, no. Like you don't like coffee, anything?
I won't drink coffee.
Okay.
I'll drink soda sometimes,
Okay.
but it's only sometimes. That's tough. I'll just go Pepsi.
Pepsi. Okay. All right. If you could pick any person that would be tuning into this podcast, who would it be and what would you say to them?
Tuning in.
Yep. If they were listening.
I don't know if it'd be one person as much as it would just be youth coaches.
Okay.
Just kind of with what we talked about with being an assistant in college and all that. I feel like there's a lot of coaches that want to work their way to that, but don't necessarily understand what it entails. And so knowing some of the just behind the curtain stuff going into it, I think would be really beneficial. So I'd probably refer it to a lot of coaches, young coaches that want to coach college one day.
I like it. Okay, and to end, if I asked you to give me a quote off the top of your head, what is it?
Ooh. Fail right now.
Yep.
Fail to plan is planning to fail.
That's good. That's real good. This is a good way to end the podcast. That's good.
You know, I just be thinking of stuff sometimes on the spot.
Well, thank you so much, Dakota, for giving me the time to do this, and I wish you the best of luck in your adventures, and maybe one day you and Coach Dwight will be running a program.
That's the plan. If that happens, we'll make sure you get tickets.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely give me a free T-shirt or something.
And you can watch them coach and practice.
Yes.
As the head coach.
Yes, I like it. But
I got the podcast, by the way.
Oh, okay.
The basketball podcast.
Oh,
how simple is that?
That's super. Yeah, the basketball podcast. That's great. I'm writing this down. That's really original. Lots of thought. Lots of thought in that one. Okay. Well, all right, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in to Coaching, Caffeine, and Comedy. I'm your host, Haley Kobza. And again, thank you to Dakota Patton today for jumping in here and giving us your insight on youth coaching and your goals and aspirations, and also a little bit more insight on Coach Dwight Smith. Super enjoyable to listen to this, and I think you definitely have some words that people should listen to. So again, thank you, and thanks Dwight again. Or Dwight. Oh my goodness.
Oh goodness.
Oh boy. Thanks, Dakota.